I look big.
Bro, every time you're on camera, bro, you look huge compared to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's that seat, the single seat, to make you look taller. I look so short.
Oh no, it's like
Whenever I'm editing, bro, I look at us and I'm like, why does Kobe look like 5 inches taller than me?
we're the same height, right?
No, you're taller than me, but not by like 5 inches. Maybe I'm slouching too much. Let me try to sit up.
Yeah, sit up.
I don't know. You be sitting up all the way. Your back's like.
It's like straight up.
Maybe I'm
just,
slouching.
like slightly.
I
Maybe
hate
'cause I'm also wearing black. It's also this too. Like it makes you look long. Pause. I was like, alright. Welcome to Modest Stoic Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Instagram as well as TikTok. This is my co-host Anoop.
Yo,
What's up, Anoop?
sweet, bro.
How you feeling?
Feeling good, bro. How are
Feeling
you?
good? Hold on, let me get comfortable.
Oh, you trying to get comfortable now?
Yeah, like because
I just sat up
I feel
before
like
this
I'm a little tense right now. Let me get a little comfortable, you know?
I mean, bro, we got a rainy Saturday. We're in New York.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm dressed in my rain. You can see
all blacked
everything
out.
all blacked out. Got the right shoes. You know, it's rain season. So
Yeah,
what's up, man? How you living?
I'm living good, bro. I can't complain. You know, it's been a good week.
Mhm.
It's been a long week, definitely. I'm kind of
Okay.
happy it's kind of Saturday.
All right.
I played a lot of basketball this week.
All right. So
I already told you all.
that's your highlight of the week.
My
Yeah.
highlight of the week is
Okay.
definitely playing basketball.
I need to run a couple games with you, man. It's been a while since we ran
Well,
together.
it's been like what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah,
maybe?
since we hooped.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
It's been since Buffalo, no?
Yeah. Did we didn't hoop in the city?
Nah.
No.
Yeah,
Damn, 4 years.
it has to be more than that because 2020 we didn't hoop because pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
2019 had to be the last runs.
Wow.
There's a reason why we don't hoop though anymore because
Yeah.
this guy
No,
plays too much bully ball. He just be hacking me left and right.
Yeah, but I have so many scars from playing ball, bro.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, didn't we play in 2020 or 2021? Didn't you come up to Buffalo with Dino?
Maybe then.
And
Maybe there's one run.
I used to live at Sweet Home. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we hooped
actually,
around that
we
time.
did,
So
we did have one run.
that was like 3. Yeah, damn, still 3-4 years.
Yeah, regardless.
Wow. Yeah, that's been a minute. Yeah.
I know, but I mean, since then though too, I haven't played basketball in so long. So this week's just been like hooping again. I've been enjoying it, and dude, like how we talked in the last episode, the whole competitive itch, talking trash, everything. I mean, there wasn't much trash talking done.
I don't know.
People just hate the way I play because it's actually pretty funny. Because I play more.
All right, so if you could describe who you play like, who would you play like?
Oh, easy, Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Minus the craziness. Minus
Dennis Rodman. I mean, if you start dressing like him, if you get the nose piercing.
Yeah, that's what I said. Minus
then I'm
the
like, all right, what's going on? Like, if you dye your beard, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Minus the crazy aspect, I would say I'm Dennis Rodman because I'm not like an offensive player. I don't score crazy. Like I'll get like a bucket or two a game. Okay. I'll do my little thing.
You have a little jump shot too, though. You can.
It used to be.
Okay.
It's faded away. It's coming back again.
Yeah. Okay.
But beyond that, bro, like I'm definitely more of a team player. I set up all my players to screens, board everything, keep the team
like pick and roll
like crazy.
Yeah.
It's just finishing at the rim is just where it's been a little bit more challenging. Because also for me back then, I wasn't as strong as I am now.
Yeah.
So I think it's for me assessing my strength too. Because I also don't want to hurt anyone when I'm playing. I'm a bigger guy on the court.
Absolutely.
So I try to be mindful of that.
But also, like you're pretty strong, right? So finishing at the rim, you have to have that soft touch. So it's a bit of a challenge sometimes.
Yeah, it's basically recalibrating everything back in.
Absolutely. Was it physics?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, but highlights definitely a lot of basketball this week. A lot of good conversations. Things I'm working on, side projects. So
okay.
Really cool.
How you feel about your side projects?
It's good. I think it's some promising work that's happening. I kind of just can't wait to share it with the world at this point.
Okay,
I think it's just
I'm ready too. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, no, I've been cooking. This is a project on the low. We'll see where it goes and how.
So you got a couple projects, this and then another. Okay, I like that.
We'll see what happens. I think this week, like, it started off definitely as a low light because I felt like from a time perspective, I felt like I've recently have been just, looking to the left and right, seeing where our friends are in life, seeing where people are heading in terms of their chapters in life. Like people are getting married now, people are buying homes right now, people are having kids right now. Like my friends in all different 3 stages of life. I'm looking at my life, I'm like, I'm going through this interesting chapter of life. And you kind of look to the left and right, you're like, where do I stack up in this? How am I doing?
You start to get discouraged a little bit, right?
You get a little bit in your head. I mean, I've always been able to control the emotions. So I'm just like, there's something to learn in this chapter. Let's dig in, let's learn. And that's all I've been doing.
Okay.
But, from time to time, if we're being realistic, of course, it'll eat away at you a little bit.
No, it makes sense. I mean, you're human. So you have emotions. So eventually it'll creep in.
Exactly. So it's just how do you want to, let that play into your life. So just navigating that. But, just been focusing up and just really digging into my work, keeping my head down and, working. So it's been good.
Okay.
How about you, man?
Yeah, keep doing your thing, man. I'll start low and then I'll go high. Last weekend, I wasn't feeling too well, right? So we missed a week, right?
Yeah.
So that was my low, feeling really tired, right? End up taking a little nap and I was great. But that was really it. I didn't really have any lowlights that were too notable. I would say, thinking about it, work was pretty busy this week actually. So that was something that was a low light. I didn't really like being too busy. I really like a cool like work week, one I can chill at. But this week was really busy. And so now I'll go high. Right after the day I was really tired that last weekend, me and my girl took this dance class. We went to a compa class. And I don't think I'm that good at dancing in general. She thinks otherwise. But we had a lot of fun. So now I know how to dance compa. So
what is that?
so it's a Haitian waltz. It's not like swing or anything, nothing too energetic. But if you think of a waltz, like you're holding your partner by the waist, it's like that. But you're also like winding your waist at the same time, and you know you're moving in different ways. There's a lot of like twirls, different kind of vibe, and you can make it all your own thing, like you know freestyle and whatever you want to do with it. So it was real fun. Like I'm not gonna lie, like that was different. And then right after the lesson, they had like a little party where you can like practice your moves. Yeah,
That's cool.
It was cool.
Was it a packed out class?
Not really. Maybe like
more intimate.
4 or 5 couples that were there, and we're like perfectionists, so we were like doing it all over and over. We learned a routine, kept doing it over, and then little party after, and then they had this like special dish. It was like, I don't know what the name is, I keep forgetting, but they had it was like fried goat or whatever. But they had like a whole menu, but that specific fried goat, bro. Like
it was just hitting the spot.
Yeah. It hit the spot. I've never had something so flavorful. I was like, all right, Haitians, I don't know what I'm eating, but
y'all got it.
Yeah, you guys got it. But it was really good.
Is your girl a dancer in the past, or
yeah, for sure.
Like, she's always been into dance.
Yeah, she's always been into dance, so it's something that she's comfortable with. I've not really a dancer. I feel like I got a couple moves, but nothing in the tuck where I could just bust out dancing and like, you know, hop in the middle like a Soul Train thing. I'm not doing that at all. But I'll bust a little move here and there. Yeah, for sure.
No, I mean that's good that you dabble into it though. You know, just explore. I think always trying things out of your comfort zone is always a good thing. Even though it's really awkward and really uncomfortable at times, I think just pushing the boundaries and just dabbling is always a good thing. It just expands your mind.
Absolutely. You know, that's one thing I said, like I'll try anything at least once, right? And maybe that's a lie, because there's certain things, like certain things I'll try, I don't like it the first time, and then I'll like it again. Like for raw fish, I'm not really a big raw fish person. I've been recently going into like sushi, like raw sushi, and it's not bad.
Yeah. Like, I'm actually the same way.
Oh, for real? You don't like raw fish?
Dude, the amount of times that I go on dates and stuff like that, start talking to girls, and every girl, you know, I don't know why people fantasize about sushi and they put it on a pedestal. I mean, this might be a hot take to start the podcast.
Like it's just, but we're bigger set guys, so it's like one roll of sushi is not filling me up, bro. So it's like, how much sushi can I eat? Like, you know?
No, regardless though, like the amount of people who I've interacted with who put sushi on such a pedestal, and also where I'm from, you know, I'm technically on an island, so everyone loves seafood and stuff.
I like that though.
I'm just like,
seafood is good.
I don't know. I can't.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, exactly. No, I can't dabble into it.
I mean, let's see where it takes me. My first experience with raw fish was a poke bowl. You ever had one of those?
Yeah, I think in Buffalo, which is probably the worst place to try it.
It was terrible. So I've always been like, no, I can't eat raw fish. Like I literally felt sick.
Yeah, I can't.
So then bad experience. But now I'm like, okay, trying. I mean, New York City has quality fish, so I'm like getting used to it, and I like it a lot.
You a better man than me?
I'm a way better. I don't know about that, but definitely better at sushi.
Of course.
But let's dive into something very interesting. I'm very excited about this topic. Let's go. What we talk about?
I mean, we talking about, you know, we talked about our lowlights, but we know someone that had a way different lowlight than us this week. It might be also a highlight too, depending on how you view it. But I know a lot of you guys saw the viral clip of from the Omah concert.
Oh my God.
Where this basically this couple went to the concert. There was an artist performing, UK artist, I believe, Omah.
But first it was Usher, now Omah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
So essentially what happened, just to recap in the shortest form, Omah selected this girl to come dance on stage, but it's more of a, let's say, intimate dance.
Yeah,
more
very
intimate.
Sexy.
Yeah, very intimate dance that they were doing. So they went in, she ended up going to the show with her mans. She got selected. She went on stage with him, did this whole intimate dance, and all you see is this man looking at this whole performance happen, just in disarray, speechless. He didn't even know what to do, but he's just standing there watching it happen.
Imagine your queen up there with some guy that, I mean, he's not some guy. Omah is famous, right? He's an R&B artist, like, and he's daggering your girl. He's lifting up your girl, grabbing on your girl.
I mean, it'll be playing over here on the side, so you guys will see. You guys will see what we're talking about.
But and you can't even see it. So it's like behind a curtain. So you see the silhouette. So it's even sexier than actually seeing the dance in person.
Yeah. And then like it's
And
probably
she's actually good at dancing. So, and she looks like a dancer that should be on stage.
yeah.
So not only is she killing the dance, but you're watching her kill the dance. Like,
Yeah.
like
I think it's also important to mention that they were in a 7-year relationship.
7 year
And this happened.
But her reaction was the worst because when you watch the video, she's screaming and she's calling Omah baby. And she's screaming so loud that he notices her and he's like, come up.
Yeah.
That's
it's pretty bad.
Could you imagine your queen, 7-year queen, screaming for another man and calling him baby, and then that's what she's doing on stage?
You know the funny thing is though, like I don't want to like open up another can of worms and stuff.
Yeah.
But the amount of people that have told me like, oh, if Drake did that, like Drake called me to stage, I'll go. Like I've talked to girls and girls are like, that's my hall pass.
Okay.
And you know what the hall pass term is, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like the one person that I'm allowed to do anything with if the opportunity presents itself.
I don't believe it,
there's so many people that say, yo, this is my hall pass.
No, hell no. Like,
I'm just like,
I
don't know.
No, even Rosaverse. Like I have a favorite artist. I'm not gonna name the favorite artist, but like
better not. Someone's watching.
Yeah, no, come on, playing safe. But even if I get called on stage, I'm not going.
Yeah,
I'm not going. Like there was a video. I always talk about Usher, but there was a video. Usher tried to pull someone up. I think it was Winnie. I don't know if you know Winnie. She's going out with Kyle Kuzma, right?
Yeah.
And immediately she sat on Kyle Kuzma's lap. Like, I'm not doing this, right? So that's the type of thing I want from like my lady. But Rosaverse, like I'm doing the same thing. I'm running away. I'm not at that point, and I see her excitement calling him baby.
Yeah.
I just want to see what happens. Right?
So you are staying then?
No, yeah, I'm definitely gonna stay, but in my head I'm like, I'm leaving soon.
Yeah.
Like I'm plotting my escape because first of all, you're in the front row, so you gotta look back and see how many people are there.
Yeah.
So I'm plotting my escape. And initially when I see that dance going on, I'm ready to leave.
Yeah.
But honestly, I had a different thought. Like, honestly, I will enjoy the concert, right? You could also like stay there, enjoy the concert, but that's not my girl anymore. Like, like, oh, she's killing it, but that's not my girl anymore. Like, do your thing. This is dope.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Right? So that's another perspective. Why mess up the concert for me? Just know that we're not together anymore. That's it.
I don't know, bro.
No,
but bro, I feel like if you really think about that situation, bro, is 7 years you're in a relationship with this girl and she does that.
She was over it.
I mean, yeah.
Like she was done. Like
she
obviously
clearly was.
She was doing. Like,
to some extent, she was already done with it. I mean, we don't know the backstory fully of like what their relationship status was coming into this thing. Were they just in a fight and they came to this concert?
That's the worst time to get into a fight. On the drive over
I don't
to her
know.
favorite artist.
I don't know. I don't know how it all transpired. All I know is it happened and sitting there and looking at it. If I was in that situation, how you said, am I going to do the 180 cut out the door or am I waiting and seeing what happens? I feel like I would wait to see what happens. Once I see the silhouette, it's like, all right, I'm out. 180 dip.
Because it's like a great show.
It's a great show.
I'm not even going to lie. He was doing his thing.
Yeah. But then it comes down to, I think, the concept of, was he in the right place, wrong time? Was it divine intervention? Because the reason why, to give a little bit more to the story now, because that video went so viral of this happening, this guy now so up now financially. He got sponsorships. I think he has a new girl. He has
whoa.
I think so. I think I heard about this.
A new girl already?
I think so.
That's
like I said, we don't know the relationship status before. Maybe they were both ready to cut.
One thing is like that's not a new girl. She's been there. If that's happening that quick, sheesh.
I don't know. It might have been from the Kai Cenat stream too. I don't know how he got the new girl, but I just know he has a new sponsorship deal. I saw the commercial for it.
But what a way to like pivot though, from being like clowned on Twitter everywhere. He was like the laughingstock to being like. He was even being laughed at in the concert. You could see people laughing. But to pivot and get brand deals, a new girl, and then Kai gave him more like $20,000.
Yeah,
sheesh.
He got a lot. He turned the biggest L to the biggest W. I've never seen a comeback like this, and it was within the matter of what 48 hours. I think this happened.
Damn.
Like people move quick. I mean, we live in the digital era. But
do you remember that that I don't know when it was, but it was 2020 or 2019, maybe farther. But there was that Hurt Bay series. Remember that? What I'm talking about? It was like an interview. It was two exes interviewing each other. Yeah,
I see it trending now on TikTok.
I don't
know. I don't know if they brought it back or what, but I've seen it where they asked those very vulnerable questions and stuff. Yeah,
and she was just like piling on him and like ripping him up. It's kind of like that similar situation. Like I feel like once in a while we'll have that trending moment of like a guy being embarrassed or vice versa. Like women get embarrassed all the time too. Yeah, so it's like a common theme.
I think it's just how, you react to your emotions. Do you own it? Do you affirm it? How do you do it? I don't know. I think some people are better than some at certain times in terms of how they react to their emotions. Some people in that moment would have probably like done way worse things. He firmed it. Like he took the L.
Where do you think that could have gone? If like someone, like, give me some examples. Like, what's the worst thing that could have happened versus like the best way to handle it?
I mean, if he stood there and just started getting hot temperament and like a bunch of other things, like tries to charge the security, tries to do anything
even
crazy.
the security guard was like clouded.
Of course. I mean, listen, he could have done a lot of things worse. He could have been behind bars that night. Who knows? He could have done a lot of things worse, is all I'm saying. But he kept his temperament. I have to give him kudos to that. For sure. And he took everything on the chin in a way that he just now has so much success. I obviously don't know this dude's personal life, so I don't know what he actually does behind closed doors and everything of that nature. So I can't, co-sign everything he does. But from what we've seen in the past week, went on the Kai Snatch stream, got 20K, did the 20 vs 1, got a new sponsorship deal. Instagram blew up. He took the biggest L and turned into the biggest W ever. And I don't know if it's him doing it solely, but I think the way he reacted that moment and stayed grounded benefited him like crazy.
Absolutely.
He changed the L to a W. And I think that's what I'm saying from an example wise. He made it back.
All right, so like let's flip it. Like, what if he was cool, whatever happened?
The
ride back home. Yeah. The ride back home, he's embarrassed, he's feeling weird. And this would go both ways, like if it happened to like a girl too.
Yeah.
He's embarrassed. The ride back home, is it quiet? Like, are you talking about it? Like, what are you doing?
I feel like you have to talk about it.
You have to talk.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know, man.
Not quiet, go to bed pissed.
So
you're gonna just sit there in the same bed?
Bro, one thing about me, if I'm upset, I drive fast. But I feel like
he said no one's life matters.
No, I'm not saying like I'm putting her life in danger.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be upset at that, but like that's gonna be an awkward ride home. I'm not gonna lie. Like at that moment, I won't talk about it in that moment, but I'll find a time to. First of all, I'm not continuing the relationship, but I'm just saying, like, if he was cool with it, that car ride is awkward, or are you making fun of it? Because some people would be cool with that, like seeing that happen, but
I think you have to talk. I think you have to talk about it. I think you have to address it and just because it kind of depends, like how much you loved her. Like I said, we don't know the relationship status before they went into that concert. Like if they were on really good terms, like he was about to engage, or I don't think they were engaged.
Nah.
Yeah, if they were, I mean, it's been 7 years. So that's actually kind of crazy too. That they weren't engaged.
Is a long time.
Yeah,
but also they could be young.
I don't know their ages and stuff. I didn't read fully into the details. Yeah. I didn't go full TMZ on this, but yeah, no. I mean, it really depends on the relationship status and how much they love each other. If they love each other a lot, then you do the most things for love. You could just firm it and move on. But I think how you said, I think the relationship ran its course potentially because he finished and moved on.
Yeah.
And then she also released her apology video too, and it seemed like in an apology video, from what I gathered, it wasn't super apologetic.
Yeah.
She basically reassured that was my whole pass in a way. I obviously watched the video. I'll put it up as well or link it in the bio. But like watch the full video too and see her apology and see how she reacted. But she basically said it's my hall pass. She said this happened, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna take the opportunity. So she did. And kudos to her, I guess.
You know what's really interesting? Like all these apology videos that come out sometimes work in your favor and then sometimes don't. Like Kevin Hart, I remember one time he was being homophobic or whatever the case may be. His career skyrocketed after he apologized. He got caught cheating, apology, skyrocketed again. Like it just works in some people's favor. I don't know if it's gonna work in her favor because it just made her seem even like more insensitive.
It depends how you want to do it. I actually remember the Kevin Hart apology video where he just said, he said on the most recent one, when the Oscars, that's the one you're referring to, he just said, cancel me if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, but he's at that space where
he could do that.
Yeah, come on, deal with Netflix. Like, of course. He's up.
But, that just shows how he came back from a trying time, how the boyfriend did, how Kevin Hart did. They came back from a time where it was just a lot of, things not going their way from a global social media perspective, all of that. And they just turned around and said, hey, you can cancel me if you want, was Kevin Hart's approach.
Yeah.
The guy's approach was, it is what it is. He's like, I took the L. I didn't react to it emotionally. I firmed it and moved on. And since both of them did their own respective things, both of them found success in their own ways. Absolutely. And I think that's how it always ties back to what I say. It's an important skill to learn to control your emotions because we know for a fact so many guys would have gotten so hot in that moment and they could have done some crazy stuff. Like jumped the fence, ran the stage. They could have done any of that.
Tried to tackle Omah. Yeah.
Dude, if they did that, bro, they would be behind jail right now. Or they would be in some
you see them get tackled by security.
Oh, I mean, they'd be even a bigger clown. they would not end up on Kai Snatch stream.
Yeah,
Because I think people saw that he was like, I don't know if he's a good guy or not. I can't, speak to his character. But in that moment, he just smiled and he's like, damn. In his head, is like, this is going to be a really hard story to tell.
What can you do, though? Like,
Nothing. I mean, you could either got hot, stay, or leave. You had 3 options.
oh, my God.
He just decided to stay and then leave.
Yeah.
And he got clowned 24 hours, but then 48 hours later, he made it back.
But how do you recover from that? Like,
Mhm.
say if it didn't go so well for him. If he didn't go on the stream with Kai or be able to get some brand deals, how do you recover from that? Because not only every place you go, I'm sure he's going to be in places where people his age are, right?
Mhm.
So they're going to recognize him
Yeah.
in the video.
Of course.
How do you bounce back? How do you move forward from that? How do you not be embarrassed every day? Because it's going to affect you.
Control your emotions.
Control your emotions.
That's really it. I mean, you're gonna get so much flack in every group chat. Every group chat,
Bro,
your name is lit up.
The boys, bro. I'm muting the group chat, bro.
Yeah, you're cooked. You're cooked in every chat. Just go to the gym, get strong, get bulked, use that energy
as fuel.
That's all you can do. Build out your businesses, because you will have unlimited motivation right now, because you experienced the biggest heartbreak at the most viral stage ever. So
no, absolutely.
I think at that point you just channel it, use it as motivation, clock in, because when you're up, you up. No. Ain't nobody gonna look at your L's.
In 2 years, he's gonna be beefy, just straight out the gym.
Well, everybody looks at the L's your whole life. Think about it. Everyone remembers all your L's. The second you get a W, they forget all about it. Elon Musk took so many. Kobe Bryant took so many. Look at any GOAT, any person in any domain. They took so many L's in their life. You missed 20 shots. The one game winner goes in, Dame time all of a sudden.
Dame time. But it only takes that one split second, right? You pay your dues. You don't know when you're going to be successful. And then at the moment you feel like giving up, taking up the hard times, the stressful times, and then next thing you know, you just maximum gains, right? So now you're at the point where you're successful. Everything is working for you. But also you have to stay humble, because you remember, like, life is about peaks and valleys. So you never know when you're going to be down again, but enjoying it, kind of similar to the 15 seconds of fame, right? Capitalizing on that, making sure that you're set up for success, regardless of any times that you might go back down the valley, if that makes sense.
Of course. I mean, that's just life. Life's peaks and valleys, how you said. And it's kind of how you react to those lows makes the highs that much higher. And that's why I've always preached. You have to work through and take those shots in life, because eventually one sticks. And I will say the journey until one sticks sucks. It truly does. It tests you. And you just have to keep weathering the storm. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. How you said, enjoy every moment. But it kind of comes down then too, like when we look at his situation, like truly, was he in the right place for a long time, or could it have been divine intervention, or even for our situations in life, through the amount of losses we took in our life, it obviously built up our character to where we are today.
One quote that I heard when I was speaking to one of my mentors, he mentioned that everyone has their own experience and it comes together, and that's what perspective is, right? So understanding someone's perspective is more than just being sympathetic or empathetic, right? Either one. It's more about understanding the backstory, letting them speak about their experience, and then you can put yourself in their shoes, right? So I don't know how I'm going to put myself in his shoes, but he could have been at the right place at the right wrong time or right time. It could have been God telling him, hey, this isn't the person for you. Or it could be a lesson for him of taking what people say as face value, because she did mention that she was going to go on stage if she gets called, right? So not thinking, oh, well, that could never happen, right? And honestly, taking people's word for what they actually are, right? So it could have been a lesson there.
There's a lot of lessons that could have been learned through this. I think it was also maybe for him, through all those trying times that he went through in life, he maybe learned the lesson to control his emotions, and he did it again in another stressful situation, and it benefited in his favor. He took his moral values or whatever he truly believed and applied it to the situation he was in at that time, and it worked. And this what came down to, if you're someone that invites challenging situations in your life throughout your development journey, when you do face the fire at that point, and whatever way it could happen, like we said, it can happen in your professional life. It can happen in the most randomest ways. This guy probably didn't expect to go to the concert and this happened. But due to the way he's just been coded, he just decided, and he knew better, to not do anything crazy. He just did what he had to do, firmed it, turned around, left the concert, and look at him now.
If you're him, are you going to any more concerts?
Yeah, I'm going to concerts. What the heck? Why'd I let one situation ruin my life?
All right. So are you taking your girl to another concert?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
It's just like how you said it. I think it's just the wrong one. I think that might have been some divine intervention. Maybe it was a little bit of both.
Are you going to the front?
Yeah. I went to I went to the front of Drake. I'll do it again.
Okay. All right.
I was worth it. Drake saw me. I saw Drake. We should give a head nod. At least in my head, that's how at least it went down at MSG. I think this also drills into like how we kind of navigate the concept of time, and how we face these situations in our life where we're tested, that we go through these things, and how we kind of navigate it. Remember how I said in my low light of the week that I'm at this point in my life where my friends are getting married, my friends are buying homes, or my friends are having kids. It's like one of the three stages of life, and that's like the next chapter of life for both of us as young professionals growing up right now.
But I don't feel like there's ever enough time. You know, some people say, "Oh, timing is an illusion" or whatever, but like I don't ever feel like I have enough time for anything. Even though we have like 24 hours, and I know that Steve Harvey mentioned that don't sleep or whatever. We'll get to that point later. But I don't ever feel like I have enough time. 8 hours in a day, I'm sleeping. Right, and you wake up and you have 16 hours, but then 8 of those hours you're working, and then after work you don't really want to work.
Well, you also have to balance your other relationships in life. You have family,
Exactly,
girlfriends, relationships with professional, unprofessional, whatever you got, gym, fitness,
that
into
too.
that. So yeah, I think when you look at it from a 24-hour perspective, you truly don't like. Once you really, if you work a busy job that you can't really dabble into anything else, if you do need 8 hours of sleep, you get that. If you do fitness, that alone, you already eat up 16 plus another 2, you're already at 18 hours right there. So how many hours do you really have to invest in yourself? And then, oh, forgot. Then you have to do family time, girlfriend time. That's another 2 hours, hour. But I think what you have to learn is from a day-to-day perspective, yes, you might feel like you don't have enough time. But if you really allocate those 1 to 2 hours to really dedicate it to whatever you're trying to build, whether it's the podcast, whether it's any passion projects you wanted to work on, if you learn to just take those 1 to 2 hours, eventually the compound of consistency really rewards yourself. So it's just learning to stay consistent and disciplined through those times to just keep doing it. But I understand that the concept of time from a day-to-day perspective can feel so draining.
It can get annoying for me because I feel like sometimes I'm thinking about like my biological clock too. Like, bro, as soon as I turn 25, my back
it's cooked.
Bro, it's cooked. I get up slower. I feel like 100%. An old man sometimes. But obviously, you go to the gym, you know, work on mobility, and those things can be fixed. But just thinking about, all right, I'm aging. I have to think about marriage. I have to think about starting a family, building a home, traveling more, fitting. Your parents are getting older, so you have to spend more time with them. Families spreading apart, moving away. So
everyone's on starting different chapters.
Yeah, you have nieces and nephews now, moving around. You're trying to move up in your career, you know, upskill, or maybe even do lateral moves, right? You might pivot and go to a different industry,
of course,
right? So it's a lot of things happening at the same time. And it can be a lot of pressure, right? Like the COVID pandemic was a time where you could pause. Everyone was at home, right? Receiving unemployment, what like
the stimmy checks were
hitting. The stimulus checks were hitting. Chilling at home.
It was a pandemic.
Pandemic for real. Pandemic for real. You're staying at home, getting paid, chilling, watching Netflix, hanging out. Some people obviously, you know, developed that during that time, made investments, made bank. But it was a real time where you could pause and think about life and not really have to stress. And you could really use those 16 hours that you're not sleeping to the maximum effect, right? Just to chill with family, develop yourself if you need to, just really hang out. After that, it's been like hustle culture. Our hustle went up with inflation. That's crazy, right? I don't think I've had the time to like just sit down and just think sometimes, right? And I have to intentionally make that time, like put it on my schedule. Hey, I'm going to spend an hour just to hang out and meditate. Hey, I'm going to take this time to go to the gym. And I feel like as the world progresses with AI and technology, we just don't have that much time to ourselves anymore. Even though those technology things are supposed to make it easier and give us more time, it just feels like it's doing the reverse. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you have enough time? How do you schedule your time? Like, I feel like you're really good at project management. I definitely would translate over to scheduling.
Yeah, I think from a 24-hour standpoint, if we look at it from there, and then I'll dive into the second point you made. So from like a 24-hour standpoint, I think it's just finding those 2-3 hours of quiet hours or creative hours that work for you. And I think it's finding it whatever works in your schedule, knowing and realizing when are your creative hours, because people are more creative in the morning. Some people are more creative at night. So it's like, okay, do I need to wake up early to get those 2 hours or 1 hour, do my journaling, and then also figure out my to-do list, but then also spend another 30, 45 minutes to just work on whatever I'm working on? For me, for an example, I know it's nighttime. I know after 9 o'clock at my house, everyone falls asleep by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I know from 9 to about 11-ish or whenever I feel like I'm going to pass out, I just do all my work then that I really want to focus on because I know no one will disturb me. I think it's finding it from a 24-hour perspective, finding what works for you and your schedule, kind of that race against time and the pressure that we're feeling, given that, how you said, we're in this hustle culture mindset because the advancements of inflations, job layoffs have been insane right now. Like every day you open up LinkedIn, there's another layoff happening at another company. And I'm like, that's not good.
People are scrambling.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, everyone's starting another chapter in their life right now. And it's like, where are you stacking up? You know, not against your competition, but against your peers, where you are on the rat race of life. And everyone has a different way of how they do it. To navigate that pressure.
But the playing field was leveled now. You know, like everyone.
Do you think it's leveled?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people that don't necessarily have access to certain things can just hit up ChatGPT, find out anything, right? And understand how to upscale. Like every technology is so accessible now, and you pick up your phone. People that are even in like third world countries are able to do some type of creative design and make money here. And then when they're up, they can move anywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like we're at a space where anyone can be rich or make money or be productive. Playing field is leveled. Anyone could come up. And a lot of people that have potential that don't necessarily have the resources to move forward now have those resources, right? And not all you need is Wi-Fi. Once you have Wi-Fi and a device to go online, playing field is leveled. It's just a discipline to actually use those resources, right? So oftentimes people sit on TikTok or Instagram, or I mean, I sit on TikTok and Instagram sometimes, soaking up so much information. Only like 10% of that gets used. You know what I'm saying? But there's someone out there sitting there using all that information, and they're upscaling and getting up. Sometimes you may see someone like, how did they get that money, or how did they get whatever they have?
Yeah.
But the whole time they've been disciplined and working.
I'll counter your opinion to further this.
Please do.
So you said that everyone has the opportunity to which I'll agree.
Most,
everyone has the
a lot of
opportunity.
people.
No, what you said is right. Everyone can figure out. I mean, obviously, if you have access to technology, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do have the opportunity, but I don't think everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur, if that's what we're digging into.
Okay.
Because I've talked to a lot of people. I know people who are talented, but a lot of them just do not like that lifestyle. They'd rather collect the paycheck every 2 weeks. They know they're getting paid. They know that they're going to do XYZ functions from their 9 to 5. Once they clock out, they're done. And I think that's also a good thing. I think that is the lifestyle that if you know that's your lifestyle, do that.
Okay.
I think for some people, it's a very reassuring factor because they know their insurance is covered, there's stability. And I know a lot of people enjoy career stability. I mean, I think I took it for granted sometimes now that I'm experiencing the way I am now.
Yeah.
Career stability is a huge thing. And I kind of reassure people listening is that is a good route too. I think it's just leveling up in your own career and figuring out whatever works for you because, like you said, you do have access to resources to where you could either get another certification, learn a new technology. You have those resources, so leveraging that. But I don't think everyone should become an entrepreneur. I want to make that
no, absolutely.
point clear. And I encourage it, but I don't think it's meant for everyone.
If everyone could do it, then that would be great. But not necessarily entrepreneur, but people can upscale and get the jobs or whatever they need to do, certifications, or not necessarily making money on your own, right? They have the opportunities to make moves, travel, right? Learn how to make money in different ways. Know that there's just this job here, or maybe even finding about jobs that they naturally wouldn't think about, right? So just resources are available. But I definitely agree. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Me personally, I'm now venturing into that, right? Without that productivity, obviously an athlete needs to take care of his body, but without that productivity, he can't perform, right? And switching over to someone I mentioned earlier, Kevin Hart, the biggest thing he takes care of is his body. He's always talking about fitness. He even has a brand of Fabletics, or he's a spokesperson for Fabletics because he's so much into fitness. And without him taking care of his body, he wouldn't be able to move how he moves. Bro, this guy's doing comedies, writing his comedy skits. He's running so many different things, but it's really not healthy not to take care of yourself and not sleep. So I don't really agree with Steve Harvey. I'm getting my 8 hours every night. I don't know about you, but you don't get 8 hours?
It's actually really funny because I mentioned I was playing basketball this week. So when I played Thursday night, I played till like 1:30 in the morning almost. And then I ran basketball again Friday morning at 7 a.m. I slept less than 3 hours. My buddy Paul texted me because my sleep and my fitness activities get posted onto Strava, which is like a running platform. And he messaged me, he's like, dude, you only slept 2 hours. I was like, that's horrible.
Just who he watches.
Yeah, you could see like whenever you if you're running or whatever, all your workouts get uploaded there. But my sleep gets uploaded because I wear my Whoop. So I have that.
What is that? A what?
A Whoop.
Fitness tracking like a watch. Word. Okay.
So it like tracks all your fitness stuff. So he messaged me, he's like, you only slept 2 hours. And he's always been on me for sleep.
Oh, like he's what?
Well, because
he's a trainer, right?
Yeah. He does his own run coach stuff. But he's seeing that, like, for me, sleep-wise, I only sleep like 5 to 6 hours a night. Like I never get 8 anymore. But it comes down to.
So how do you?
So I was gonna counter your opinion actually.
On the sleeping?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So my take is that sleep is important. You should prioritize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you also have to figure out if you need the 8 hours, because I think some people can survive less than 8 hours. You have to figure out what works for you. I'm not encouraging bad behavior. I'm just telling you how I do it. I know from my schedule, to get in 8 hours is just not realistic because I said my creative hours are between 9 to like 11ish.
So
and then I wake up early to go to the gym.
What's your range? Like how many hours you get?
5 to 6.
5 to 6. Okay.
I'm fine with that, but I know long term is probably not the best. Yeah. So I'm trying to work to adjust it.
It might catch up. I don't know.
It might catch up at some point. So that's why I'm saying I'm not encouraging my behaviors. But what I was going to counter and say that, to your opinion, that The rich people do take care of themselves, but I think there's a lot of struggle that they go through until to get to the point where they can take care of themselves and do those things. You're gonna push the boundaries in life sometimes, and that's where the hustle culture gets a little bit mixy, to where you have to find what works for you and your life. I know for me, I can push a little bit harder than other people from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint. So where for me it works, but I know for a lot of people it won't work.
It won't.
So you have to figure out what makes sense. But then I know for a lot of people too, they'll go over 8 hours. Be like, oh, I need like 11 hours, and the majority of the time they're scrolling TikTok for 2-3 hours in bed before they go to bed. So
I'm guilty.
So then it comes back to the hustle culture. It's like, I think there's good things and bad things you take from it. I think the good things you take from it's like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing these extra nonsense activities that don't really add any value to my life. And then for the hustle culture, the bad things are they do breed certain toxic behaviors. Like, I don't think you should be super heavy on caffeine. You should sleep the appropriate amount you need, whatever it is, between 6 to 8 or whatever it is, or more if you need it. But it's finding the balance between the two. So that's why I said I knew I'd count to yours, because rich people, for an example, you have to be so driven to get to where you are, right? And through that, you take so many sacrifices, whether it's your relationships. Like, I can't imagine how some of their relationships evolved during that time. There's a lot of people we've seen it to be successful with. We've seen Conor McGregor and his wife, for an example. Like, she was with them when he was just a plumber in Scotland, and, working through that whole phase of his life to where he is now, where they have, I think, 4 kids, and the guy's like super wealthy right now. Obviously, there's more to his personal story that I don't want to dive into, but but I mean, you look at his life, and you see the beauty that what a relationship could do for you.
He worked hard.
He worked hard, but then she also took a bet on him.
But he also changed though. Like, his mindset got colluded. I think once the money came in, he's like doing anything for money.
Well, I mean, money magnifies however you are as a person, and that's why I always preach to.
Also, you believe in that?
Oh, the money magnifies the person you are. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're a cheerful giver before, you'll still be a cheerful giver. If you weren't before, you'll still be like, you still won't be the best person. So I believe money does magnify the person you are, but not a blanket statement, not to everyone, because money can also change you to be a better man too. And to navigate that is just building those strong habits and core moral and ethics before even the time comes. That's why I believe there's always beauty in the struggle and those low chapters. I think you have to really drill in and understand your emotions and process everything.
Really? I mean, I'll counter your point, because I think that power comes with money. Right, in a lot of cases, quote, power corrupts. Absolutely, I believe in that. I think that once you understand you have a certain type of power, if you're not cognizant of it, it's definitely gonna collude you, and then you're gonna move in that way, and then sometimes like not consider other people, right? So they always say, live long enough as a king, you'll get your head chopped off, right? And that's because not everyone is gonna agree with what you're doing. Become so self-absorbed that you're moving in a selfish way, and your people are starving, right? Or your people aren't being helped. So they go ahead and chop your head off, because they feel like someone should come in that understands their people, that should give them the resources. Same way with having money and being the first one. Say if you're the first one in your family to have money, right? You're the provider. You'll be the resource. But if you're not someone that's charitable and generous, you lose your people, right? You'll go up. They say it's lonely at the top, and that's true. Only because you may not be supporting your people. You're not flowering your people, right? You're not helping people be in certain limelights and growing your people. Obviously, when you get money, some people become selfish and they feel entitled to that money. But most people that you see become successful, that keep their core unit or people, right, their squad, they usually help them flourish. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Like, Jay-Z kept all the people that he started with. LeBron kept all the people who started with. Like, Kevin Hart, same way. Like, they've all helped those people get to a certain status, and they built them up. And also in change, they built him up, right? That successful person. So I think it's really how you use that power and you distribute it. And, you also make your court of people that support you. Yeah.
I think it goes back to the last episode. Don't have yes men around you. You have to really make sure you have the right people around you growing up, because you don't know when that moment's going to hit, that you get your bag.
Yeah.
That's why
it could be today.
It could be any day. You never know. And I think that's why I really preach to make sure you're continually understanding yourself, so that you can avoid it, because you don't know what life's preparing you for. Maybe the opportunity's around the corner. And if you aren't at the stage you're supposed to be and that opportunity comes, will you rise or will you fall? Because you can get the money, cool, you're successful right now, but you could also blow $1 million or a couple $1 million really quickly and end up in some really bad situations and potentially end your own life over it too, because you're caught up in the Hollywood world of things.
Yeah, it's not gonna look good at all. I mean, let's dive into something that we are trying now. It's a new section and that's questions from the audience or answers from the audience. So this week I posted a couple questions on my story, and we got a couple responses. So let's dive into that.
Yeah. So the first question was, here, I'll read it off. What's an insult you received that you're proud of? I guess we could start with our responses first.
Yeah.
So I know for my response to this, I wrote in too. I don't know why I wrote in, but I wrote in. One of the insults I've always received is, it's not really an insult to me. It's a compliment, to be honest, but I guess it would be viewed as an insult, is that people always think I'm older than I am. And this comes down to, your physical age versus your emotional age. I'm a firm believer your physical age and emotional age are two different things. Because emotionally, physically, you can be like, let's say 21, but physically you could be mature as 30, or you could still be 16.
Yeah.
Or I met 30-year-olds who still act like they're 16, and I'm like, bro.
Age is not that doesn't define maturity.
Exactly. So that's always something I found, I guess, quote unquote, insulting, but not really. To me, it's the biggest compliment ever when people say I'm more mature, way more older than I look, and I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah, and that's good too. I mean, I know how old you are, right?
Yeah.
And I think also like the hair too. Like,
yeah. Being bald too kind of throws off everything. I will say that.
Yeah, for sure. No.
What was your answer to that question? An insult?
I feel maybe it's not an insult, but I took it as an insult. People call me stubborn. And I do think that is true sometimes, but I do think sometimes it's good to stand on your principles, and that's true to you. I'm proud of that aspect, and I don't think I'm going to change being stubborn, but I am also open to new ideas. It's not that I'm stubborn because I want to piss the person off that I'm talking to, or I'm just not open to new ideas. I'm stubborn because, hey, I don't understand that. Can you help me get there? Right. And then until I understand it, then I'm going to stand on what I believe.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a good teacher, if you can let me understand that, sure. But I'm just not going to take everything as facts, right? I'm a factual person. So if it doesn't make sense to me, why would I believe that? But also, like, some people don't take the time to explain it to you, right? So it's like, well, give me some type of reference, give me some type of resource that I can understand it. I'm someone that's a lifelong student, so I need to know that you're citing your sources or whatever. But also, like, I know that you have to be empathetic, right? So if you can see that someone is really upset about something, hearing them out, right? And that's something that I've learned. I was not always like that. Trust me, I really didn't have that emotional side of me. I really didn't think about it. But I've been more open to, hearing people out when they seem really passionate. And sometimes when they don't seem really passionate, I try to put myself into people's shoes. But I'm definitely still stubborn, though. I won't lie about that.
No, I mean, I think it's just comes down to knowing what you know and being open to learn the conversation. That's really it. Yeah. But some of the responses from the audience, I'm keeping it all anonymous, by the way. I'm not putting anyone's names out there. But
we can't do that.
One of them that I kind of liked was that I'm a narcissist because I'm obsessed with being successful, which is a funny one. I think
not too bad, right?
It's not too bad, but it just depends how they act. When we said with the whole money and power concept, like, do they mistreat the people around them? Then we obviously don't know the answer, but I think it's just finding that balance. I think that's a fine one to have. Just don't portray it into other things.
That's a little harsh though. Narcissist, like,
I mean, that's what they wrote, so I'm not gonna.
that's
I'm not gonna knock it.
Someone else said I'm always overdoing it, or someone hates that I have a type A personality. Some type of self-awareness there to know that you have a type A personality. Type A is not always bad though.
No, it's not. I think you need them around. Don't you need someone to carry the group?
Yeah, like, you need someone to be on time, like, schedule,
be the project manager of the group.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't just have everyone just chill. Nothing's gonna get done.
Of course, so 100%. 100%. The next question was, what's something you wait to ask or mention in the early dating stages? Shoot.
Sheesh. Something for me that I kind of wait to talk about, and someone also mentioned that, is finances. Don't think you should talk about that early on. It is a conversation that's important, and you can kind of play around and talk about it, but maybe telling someone how much you make or talking about, like, prenups and things like that early on is very awkward, right? And it can cause a drift between the connection you guys are making, right? Because sometimes someone may feel like you're only talking to them because you do well financially, and that's not the type of vibe you want to give off, right?
Yeah.
Even if you do well financially, that's not what you should be there for. You should be there because you like the person.
Of course.
It's always a plus, but that's something I definitely wait for to talk about. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable talking about money with people.
It also comes down to what are your non-negotiables, your boundaries, your core values to you too. Some people want that career stability. Some people want to know those things up front. I've been in situations where people want to know it up front, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool. But I think when you're talking more of the nitty gritty stuff, like prenups, joint bank accounts, all these other things, like that's maybe a little bit more like down the line.
Yeah.
I agree, but I think it comes down to what you value in terms of how much your financial alignment plays into your core values of a relationship working out. And this is early stage dating. I think you could ask it, but I think it's how in detail you want to go. You two have to navigate that road.
That too, and you could always naturally see how someone spends money or like what they spend money on. So you can kind of get an idea
gauge
of
it.
that person, how they move. Yeah, for sure. But how about you?
I think for me, something that I am always it's always a weird line to flirt with when early dating stages, because you're like you want to know things, but you don't want to come off wrong essentially. So I know for me, one of the questions I usually always have to dance around, but it's knowing past relationships. I don't want to know all the tea. I don't want to know all the details. I just want to know if there's any traumas that I actually need to be aware about, because
that's a good one.
For an example, like there's been one situation that I remember where I went in for a hug and they flinched, and I was like, oh.
wait.
No, because if you think about it in more detail, like they might have came back from an abusive relationship, and so it's like, oh, I should probably know
how'd you initiate that hug? Did you?
No, I went for like I went for like a side hug, and it was a little bit close, and I saw them flinch, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, okay, this is serious. But then in the moment, I didn't realize, like, they laughed it off because it's like the first or second date that this happened. So I was just like,
you could have took it that the wrong way, like, oh, she doesn't like me or something, like she doesn't.
I just like kind of clocked it, and I was like, okay, noted. That's something I probably had to address later on to be like, okay, what happened here?
You don't want to be.
I thought it was just an awkward situation. Yeah, I just thought it was an awkward situation, so I kind of like laughed it off. But then I knew later on when we talked about past relationships, I was like, okay, this makes a lot more sense now. Why you flinch or why you act certain ways. And I think it's something that is good to talk about, just to make sure that you guys don't have like there's nothing crazy hidden that we should address.
No,
I know how to reassure them and comfort them in a relationship too if they've been through something in the past.
Okay, so interesting. I feel like this is a good way to pivot and ask you, what happens if someone tells you something very hard to digest later in a relationship? So they kept something from you because they were scared, and then later on you find out and you're at like a kind of like a split road of like, like, did they lie to me, or should I be empathetic here? Like, how do you feel?
I think it really depends on the situation. Like, if we're talking an Adonis type beat, or if we're talking like
like they didn't tell you they had a kid or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. That's we're talking Adonis type beat. I don't know. That's a crossroad that I don't know how to navigate.
Like,
I don't know how I would navigate that road, to be honest, because I've never been in that situation yet.
But you're at a point where you're in love with shorty. Like,
how long we been together then?
Say
Give
like
me a time.
All right, so
exclusively together. Give me a timeline.
Okay, 6 months versus a year. How are you reacting 6 months down the line versus a year?
God. This is a tough question. I'm just like, oh God, 6 months versus a year.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't even need time. Like, I don't know. Like,
dude, I don't even know if I would answer this.
Okay,
nah, I think 6 months versus a year. A year? Oh God.
You're already invested. Like,
no, I think if I'm invested or not, though, they held something from me. Yeah. So what else are they holding?
Yeah, that's.
So I think that would scare me.
You start having.
I'm an overthinker. I'm an overanalyzer. So if I truly dig into myself, I think I'd be overanalytical at that point. Because once trust is broken, how do you navigate that road?
Right. How do you build that back up?
I think if you look into the most basic point, like what else I'm in love, but if a trust is broken, If that's a non-negotiable, like you can't move past it.
Yeah.
What would you do? I think for me, I would probably end up either parting ways, but I would have to take it situation by situation.
Yeah.
I think that's a crazy thing to hide too. It's not like
a kid.
Yeah, it's not like something small. Yeah. Like I thought you were talking more small scale.
No, yeah, but it's definitely gonna be like a big thing for you to part ways.
Vice versa,
but I think a kid is not that. Huh?
Vice versa for you though. What would you do then?
What would I
let's say we're a year. Skip the 6 months.
A year, and then I find out that person has a kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, where was the kid? Like, I would have so many questions.
That was my exact question.
Like I would have a lot of questions, and then if they could explain it to me and make it a better situation, sure. But if it was something like super serious, like they have a certain condition or something like that, that's like detrimental to them. Certain things you never know who you're dealing with until they tell you. You kind of have to be prepared for anything. Right. And that's the risk of love. Right. So when you're talking to someone in general. So I think certain things like that should be talked about in the early stages, because you should be able to choose who you're dating, right? You shouldn't be waiting till the last moment to disclose things like that.
No, of course. I mean, isn't the basics to every relationship is open, honest communication, trust, loyalty, all that thing. So
some people think of it.
Have those conversations early on into a relationship. The last question we got is, what are non-negotiables in a relationship? One of the answers we got was basically money management, having a high debt, money management, and how do you navigate that as your non-negotiable? One that we would both align to. Like I think
Yeah.
we're both financially frugal in a sense that we know how to manage our money for the most
Yeah.
part. And that's something that we would want our partners to either know or willing to learn. I think
Yeah.
for me, always with non-negotiables, is are you willing to learn about what the non-negotiable is truly?
Right. And are you willing to compromise or accept, right?
Basically, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think the last one that was on here is about religion,
Yeah.
essentially. I think that's an important topic for a lot of people. So it's kind of finding out where your religion aligns and navigating that as your non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I think that one's a little bit more of a. I mean, you can learn it too,
Yeah.
but I mean, it comes down to what your core value is, how you grew up, and stuff like that. So I
Y-
think that should be already established up front before you even got into the relationship.
you have to
If-
establish that. I've been in a situation where, because I'm not a super religious person, I like grew up in religion.
Mhm.
I pray all the time, but I'm not always going to church, right?
Mhm.
And that doesn't define being religious,
Mhm.
but just saying like I'm not practicing all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely keeping my Bible close to me. But I've met or dated people that were very religious, right, and down to the T. Like marriage is the time we have sex and all those things. Like we have to go to church every week and pray all the time together and
Mhm.
have these Bible studies. That's something I'm cool with as well. But for me, I've realized that I need someone that can do both. Be super religious, but also have fun. Be open to things, but doesn't think that certain things are unholy, if that makes sense. Like I need to be with someone that is able to skydive, but also read the Bible with me. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
then they're
yeah.
like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like I feel like sometimes people that are too overly religious, like they don't like to skew out of what they're practicing. Like they're all they think about is their religion, and they stick to that.
Let me rephrase it in a different way to help
Mm.
you out a little bit
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Essentially, you just want someone that aligns to your religious values the same way that you put it as. That makes sense. That's
Yeah,
what works for you, and that's how you would define the alignment. And I'm the same way too. I want someone that aligns to me to a certain extent, but to what your original point was, I'm open and willing to learn more, dive more into the faith and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's that conversation's open, but I guess at the end of the day, what's your extent? Like
yeah.
in terms of how you want to live your life, because it plays into your lifestyle and how you navigate your day to day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what one thing that I've noticed is like faith is increasing in my life. Like
Mhm.
oftentimes I talk to people, new people that I meet, it's about faith. Like
Mhm.
we find the conversation moving into that way.
Mhm.
Like my life coach, my mentor, friends, we always find a way to talk about faith, and that's in the more recent years, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like I'm having this strong connection to faith.
Mhm.
So to that point, yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how you guys balance that.
And to kind of wrap up the episode together, I mean, I think times are changing. I think that we are, facing a lot of pressure from a time perspective
Mhm.
in terms of how we're navigating life right now. I think a lot of it comes down to how you handle those pressures.
Mhm.
You may look up to the man above for answers at times. I know for me, a lot of doors have opened and closed. Sometimes I'm still looking for a door to open.
Yeah.
Navigating that path has been interesting, but it comes down to you navigating your lows and just really digging into the things you can control and kind of learning how we navigate our life. Mainly the goal is to kind of share that with you guys to kind of give you a little bit of guidance on when life isn't fair, how we kind of tee up and play the game.
Yeah.
I know for you and I, we tend to reflect inwardly, but I know you definitely go more external than I would say, because you have like life coaches and good mentors around you.
Yeah.
I know I go externally in the sense that I know business owners, for an example, if I want to present an idea that I'm working on, I know to go to them for external mentorship.
Right.
And then I guess externally, other ways I do it is through podcast books and stuff of that nature. But it's just finding out whatever communication style reciprocates with you the best. And I think that's why the main premise of why we started the podcast too is to kind of put our perspectives out there, which are still, even though a lot of ours are similar, a lot of it is still different when we dive into a lot of our situations. Like how we even talked about sleep and hustle culture mindset. I think we still have two different views. Some of it aligns, some of it, if you did a Venn diagram. Yeah, you sleep in 8 hours, I'm sleeping 6. Like I said, don't encourage what I do. Find your balance. Yeah, I think that ties in the point altogether.
All right. So my quote of the day is instructions for living a life is to pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. And that's something I agree with, especially the last one, tell about it. I'm someone that doesn't necessarily talk about myself often, like, in conversation. I'm usually the person that listens. This quote is helpful for me because I could take some of that and start talking about myself, right? Start having the genuine conversations and connecting with people. Because usually I'm the one that finds the connector in the person I'm talking to, right? And we can relate. I need to be a better storyteller about myself. To the other points, be astonished. I've met people that literally can look at a rock or a tree and just be amazed by the beauty of just nature, right? And I want to take that leap of faith and like be like, hey, like that's cool. I like to look at beautiful views, but I want to be able to live presently, be more appreciative or enamored by life, right? I just want to be able to sit and be happy with just breathing, right? And obviously, like I'm not saying that I'm sad in life, but just really living and enjoying every moment, and being present with every moment, right? So being astonished in that way, and also paying attention, right? So same point, being present and realizing the things that are going around. And we mentioned about time, how like we don't have enough time, and sometimes when things are moving and you're busy, you're not present. You're just going through the motions, and next thing you know, you're 6 months down the line. You're like, damn, how did I get here? And you look back at all the memories, you look through your camera roll. That's something I started looking at too. Like I look through the progression of life and like what I've been doing in the last 6 months. And I'm like, damn, like, I don't even remember doing this, right? Where was I? What event was I at? Just to wrap up my point, I think being present in life and also telling about it is very important. One day I feel like I'll write a book, and I'll tell all, right? That's what people do, biography. At this point, I think I'm going to be more open and talk to people about my story.
Yeah. And I think as you should. I mean, we're already, going back to the concept of time, we're already in Q1 of 2024,
Yeah.
Everyone looks back and we're like, yo, it's already March, spring's around the corner.
Spring's around the corner.
And it's just like, have you taken those moments to look back and to truly enjoy the journey to where you are today? Appreciate those moments. I know that's something that I'm definitely guilty of. Like, I don't do that often enough. There's certain times where I'll pause and reflect more when I'm traveling or more when I'm out and about, and I'll be like, let me take in a moment. I like have built that habit to where I know next week I'm going on a trip, for an example. I'm going to see all my college friends I haven't seen in a while. I know in that moment I'm gonna take that time to pause and reflect and be like, hey, like I don't know when the next time we'll all get together like this, because everyone, like I said, is a different stage of life right now. One of them is having a kid. We won't see him for a while.
Yeah.
But we'll all become an uncle in the group, I guess, in a way.
Oh, he's gone. The first one to have a kid, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. We won't see him. One of my other boys got married too. So he's gone. Everyone's just dying off left.
Losing troops. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Beautiful quote. Can't wait to read the book, of course, as well. So I think for me, my quote's a little bit long, but I think it kind of ties into the episode well. Fulfillment doesn't come from wasting your time scrolling, partying, avoiding the work, or giving into the impulse of what we feel good. It comes from doing meaningful work, solving problems, chasing ambitious goals, and rising to the challenge in front of you. Mainly from that quote, what I take away from it, and I think what we preach in this episode with the whole managing your time, how you spend your 24 hours, hustle culture, all of that. A lot of us tend to get comfortable in our day-to-day lives, within our 9 to 5s, within our relationships, lifestyles in general. Respectfully, that is okay as well. It kind of comes down to, what do you want to gain from this lifetime? Do you find yourself as a driven person? Is there any passion project you ever wanted to work on? Why haven't you executed? Why haven't you done it? Have you talked to anyone that maybe be able to help you? That's something I encourage. I know so many gifted people right now who are laid off or going through it, or hate their job or going through a troubling situation. So where I'm always there as a resource, and I don't know if other people do this, but I know I'll DM them and be like, hey, like I have an opportunity for you. Let's talk and take me up on these challenges, because I know that you are capable of doing more. You're able to live a more fulfilling life than you think you're telling yourself. I think it comes down to projects as well that you work on.
So you're like a dot connector.
Yeah, a dot connector. I consider myself a consultant. I mean, essentially,
you're like the Rick Rubin.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to put people onto game. I mean, I'm not gonna say here that I have like a bunch of accolades, and I don't care to take credit for anyone's work. At the end of the day, it's you that are doing the work. But my goal with all of this is that to push the limits, solve those hard problems you have in life, challenge yourself, whether it's physically in the gym or running or whatever you want to pick physically, mentally. Diving into your emotions, understanding yourself, really digging into your issues in life to just for truly understand what you're going through. What is this low life meant to teach you? And that's when those highs become highs. The same thing we started with the Omah clip with the boyfriend and stuff like that. Because he controlled his temperament, look where he's at now. Kevin Hart, when he was getting canceled, look where he's at now. Each of these people have flaws in their characters. We all do. So I won't go into that. But I think it's kind of learning how to navigate solving complex problems in your life will really deliver you to live such a fulfilling life.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And keeping temperament, we talked about that a couple of times in our previous episodes, but I think that's really the goal in life. to be at peace, right? And to be able to get through everything. And Stoicism is really big on that. But let's wrap up.
First off, thank you guys so much for watching episode 4 of Modern Stoic Talks. We appreciate you guys for joining us. We appreciate all the feedback we've gotten. I know there's a lot of things that we're cooking up. I know first thing I'll address though is our little bit of inconsistency going on. I'll already tell you guys right now, there'll be, after this upload, we'll be missing the next upload because I'll be traveling this weekend. But the goal is to get ahead on episodes and such. So we are working on that from a timeline perspective. I know that I'm also going to talk to Kofi after this episode for some future roadmap ideas of things that I got going on for the project for Modern Stoic. So stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, like, comment. Definitely reach out to us in DMs, interact with our questions, interact with us in comments. We want to hear about how you guys are doing going into Q1 of 2024. What goals have you accomplished? What's on the horizon for you? Hit us with the 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We appreciate you guys so much. And we'll see you in the next episode, guys. Have a good one. Peace.
All right.
Money.
Good deal.
Yeah. Yo, when this guy was